Good day and welcome to ENG 308, Study Session 1, Nature of Research, Introduction. In this study session, you will learn about the nature, definitions, characteristics and purposes of research. Without a proper understanding of the nature of research, you will simply be involved in a confusing and fruitless exercise. It's also important to learn what research means and what characterizes and affects research work. This unit will furnish you with these very basic and relevant pieces of information. Learning outcomes. After the study session, you should be able to discuss the nature of research, itemize and explain the characteristics of research, explain the purposes of research, meaning of research. Research literally means to search again. This implies that a search has been conducted earlier. You are only required to carry out another search on the same or related topic or in the same area of study. As a researcher, your study is to find out what earlier researchers have done and to explain the possibility of plugging in any missing point and adding to knowledge in the area in which your research is being conducted. Given this dimension, research can be said to be a continuous process. As long as humans live, as long as society exists, there must be problems to solve. And since no single research can solve a problem or address a research object completely, there will always be need to conduct research. The fact is that there is never a research undertaking that is not in one way or the other related to an earlier research. In fact, in most cases, it is from the limitations of previous studies that new studies are suggested and carried out. Generally, the need for the advancement of knowledge from what is known to the unknown for the betterment of mankind necessitates the relevance of research. Research helps in discovering the conditions under which certain events or phenomena may or may not occur, the similarities and the differences between these phenomena and the distinct features of such phenomena. Take, for example, the use of language in the newspapers of fiction. As a researcher, you may be interested in finding out the kinds of words or expressions that are used in the journals, the type of ideas that are projected through such expressions, and how the use of language in the journals relate to or differ from the use of language in other journals. ITQ 1 millions, if not billions, of research have been carried out by humanity. A. Haven't we discovered all facts there are? B. If we haven't, will we ever do? C. If we will not, why? ITA. A. We haven't. B. We will never do. C. It is not possible to know everything. The existence, discovery, and solution of problems are integral parts of society. Theories that have worked within a situation may not work in another. As some die and others are born, there will always be new problems and facts to be solved and discovered respectively. Definitions of research. In everyday parlance, research means a search for knowledge. This general conception of research concurs with its definitions in the Advanced Learner Dictionary of Current English as a careful investigation or inquiry, especially through search of new facts in any branch of knowledge. In the same vein, Redman and Mary, 1923-10, cited in Kothari, 2004, Dito 1, defines it as a systematized effort to gain new knowledge. The underlying index in all these definitions is the view that research is a movement from the unknown to the known. It's a voyage of discovery. Every human, when confronted with the unknown, employs its vital instinct of inquisitiveness to probe and attain full understanding of the unknown. Every research possesses ontological and epistemological positions. This translates into the fact that research as an academic activity comprises defining and redefining problems, formulating hypotheses or suggested solutions, collecting, organizing, and evaluating data, making deductions and reaching conclusions. Research is a veritable tool for the acquisition of knowledge, for conflict resolution, and for promotion of peace and progress for effective human society. There are a lot of phenomena in our environment that directly or indirectly affect our lives, and explanations of which will help to enhance our quality of life. It is only through the instrumentality of research that explanations can be provided for these phenomena. According to Oshuala, 1987-1, a research is simply the process of arriving at dependable solutions to problems through the planned and systematic collection, analysis, and interpretation of data. Fawale et al. 2006-2 provides us with the following definitions. Research is an endeavor to study or obtain knowledge through the use of a systematic approach with the intent of clarifications. Research is a systematic investigation including research development, testing, and evaluation designed to develop or to contribute to generalizable knowledge. Research is a form of inquiry that involves seeking of evidence to increase knowledge. It involves a systematic process for recognizing a need for information, acquiring and validating that information, and deriving conclusions from it. It is therefore clear what some people classify as research. In the strict sense of the word is not research. Research is not about fact findings or routine activities that have to do with the application of established guidelines or rules. It is an activity that is designed to break new grounds in order to make knowledge worthwhile. Characteristics of research. Research has the following as characteristics. 1. Research is systematic. This simply means that different types of research have their respective laid down procedures which a researcher should follow to arrive at an acceptable conclusion. There are well-organized methods of identifying research problems, formulating them into research questions, collecting data, sampling them, testing or experimenting on them, analyzing results before making conclusions and or recommendations. The idea here is that the preceding stages has to come before the succeeding stages. For example, data have to be collected and sampled before they are subjected to the stage of experimentation or analysis. 2. Research is scientific. Science, according to Badmus 2000, is a system of deriving truth through a particular theory or set of theories. Scientific methods constitute the most adequate approach to the discovery of truth. Scientific methods make the research procedure explicit in accepting to minimize errors and guarantee valid results. However, errors are sometimes made by researchers using scientific methods. The scientific method can be delineated into series of steps, some of which are observing certain phenomena, developing a problem situation from them, identifying the existing relationships, deriving hypotheses from these relationships, developing a design to test the hypothesis, verifying or functioning the hypothesis after testing them, and integrating conclusions from them. For example, in experimental research, the researcher follows a set of explicit methods of experimenting. 3. Research is designed to obtain knowledge. In the nature of research, it predicts the occurrence of phenomena, postulates and finally discovers phenomena that were hitherto unknown. Research is always carried out to either confirm certain relationships or issues, or refute them, or even to add to the knowledge already existing on them. Generally, the knowledge obtained from research adds to the pool of knowledge in the particular area or field that the research was undertaken. It may also provide insight in other disciplines. 4. Research relies on theory. A theory, according to Oshuala, 1987-20, is an attempt at synthesizing and integrating empirical data for maximum clarification and unification. A theory is needed at every stage of research. In fact, theory acts as guide to research. It pinpoints crucial aspects to be investigated and crucial questions to be answered. By identifying these areas, it stimulates research in areas that are lagging. Theory and research go hand in hand, just as theories guide research. They also cannot be propounded or developed without experimental facts from research. But at the same time, experimental facts cannot proceed or may not be reliable on the basis of grossly inadequate or incorrect theories. For example, progress in child psychology will continue to be limited if teachers believe that children are not interested in learning. 5. Research must be transparent. For example, clear in structure. Research is a continuous thing. There must always be problems or things to investigate in our local communities, which probably affect everybody. Therefore, research or the methods of going about it is not a secret business or personal activity. One reason for this is that even the researcher relies heavily on previous research in his or her area. Research or some vital aspect of it must therefore be structured in a transparent manner so as to be easily understood and not to be confusing or doubtful to the reader. This happens when researchers or analysis employ clear graphic, pictorial, and statistical representations to further make the observations to be seen clearly or easily recognized and appreciated by everyone concerned. 6. The result of research must be accessible, open to scrutiny, and therefore verifiable. The systematic and scientific nature of research make any research piece to be open to scrutiny. What this means is that anybody who follows exactly the same procedures and methods employed by a previous researcher will arrive at exactly the same results and conclusions. Through this means, the result and conclusion realized in the previous research can be verified. 7. Research findings must be transferable. The finding of a particular research must be useful for predicting other related phenomena that may be brought under its purview. One of the basic aims of research in its applicability to human development or better functioning. Unfortunately, however, most of the researches that are carried out in the higher institution in this part of the world rot away on the library shelves. When a new knowledge is obtained in a research endeavor, it's supposed to be applied to whatever field it was targeted. For example, the application of the various researches in mathematics, physics, and electronics into medicine resulted to use of X-rays and scanning techniques which solve the problems associated with subjective analysis and reducing damage to human cells. Purpose and function of research. Our discussion of the purpose of research will be undertaken from both broad and specific perspectives. From a broad perspective, we will examine the 4 basic objectives that inform most research undertakings From the specific perspective, we will trace the purpose of research along the line of the basic types of research. Such types of research have their distinct purposes that may not be clearly represented in a general examination of research objectives. One main purpose of research is gaining familiarity with a phenomenon or achieving new insight into it. Research submissions with these objectives are known as exploratory or formative research studies. An exploratory research introduces new perspectives to a phenomenon by making discoveries that may challenge existing ones or add to the repertoire of knowledge within a field or subfield of knowledge that may already be experiencing a kind of fossilization. As an example, John Dalton discovered that elements consist of tiny particles called atoms. If any other scientists attempt to find out whether atoms are further divisible, such will be an exploratory research. Another objective of research is to portray accurately the characteristics of a particular individual, situation, or a group. Studies with this object in view are known as descriptive research studies. Characterizing a population or situation constitute the main locus of descriptive researches. If a variationist linguistic explores the use of language in newsroom, he or she delves into characterizing a speech situation in terms of linguistic choices of participants in the situation. Some other types of research are carried out with the intent to determine the frequency with which a phenomenon occurs or with which it is associated with another phenomenon. We can tag such endeavors diagnostic studies. If a sociologist investigates the rate at which teenagers within a certain age range smoke in a specific city, he or she engaged in a diagnostic research. And in an event where he or she finds out the relationship between smoking and skin cancer, he or she has also done a diagnostic research. Hypothesis testing can also be the objective of a research endeavor. In research processes, hypothesis formulation comes after accurate definition of research problems and extensive literature survey. A working hypothesis is a tentative assumption made in order to draw out and test its logical or empirical consequences. They provide the focal point for the research. Any research work that seeks to test a hypothesis of causal relationship between variables is a hypothesis testing study. Kothari 2004, Dito 2, and Olayinka et al. 2006. Beyond having purpose, research has certain functions that are common to all the types of research discussed above. The most fundamental of them all is that research inculcates scientific and inductive thinking, and it promotes the development of logical habits of reasoning. An avid researcher engages in constant mental exercise and does things with reasoning. Also, research findings are used to solve operational problems in different areas of human enterprise. This is especially relevant when one considers the increasingly complex nature of government business and contemporary human existence. In addition, research provides the basis for policies. As an example, a nation's budget rests in part on an analysis of the need and desires of the people and on the availability of resources to meet these needs. In the light of the above, we can see that research is scientific in orientation and is theory-driven. The Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary defines theory as a set of properly argued ideas intended to explain facts or events. Before a set of ideas can be regarded as a theory, it must have undergone the procedure of observation, formulation of hypothesis, experimentation, and formulation of law. A theory, therefore, is a scientific law that is meant to provide explanations for a particular phenomenon. Finally, we will define research as a systematic and scholarly application of scientific methods to provide dependable solutions to human problems in order to improve our quality of life. Study session summary. In this study session, we have looked at the nature, definitions, and characteristics of research. We noted that research is a continuous activity of collecting data, analyzing the data to obtain generalizable knowledge about a phenomenon. We also indicated that research is systematic, scientific, theory-driven, must be transparent, and its findings should be accessible.